Hello, good day, and welcome to Hensley Tutorials. Today is that day where you eventually see how to pass HireVue interview. We are not just teaching you, we're ensuring your dream comes true. Also, for those of you who have always dreamt of working in the oil industry, this is the opportunity for you. Or perhaps you have issues trying to sort out HireVue's interview irrespective of the company. But today, I've got the code, I've got it cracked, everything all solved. And I'm going to show you practically how you can definitely get a 98% after writing everything, you know, the exams and all that. Without much ado, I just need you to stay tuned as you follow me. Now, in this training guide, one of the first things you need to understand is that HireVue is used by various companies to register people, to do interviews for people, and there are a couple of things that they do for people. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about HireVue and exactly how it is you can always nail and ace all your interviews. However, if your interview is very close, perhaps you might want to sign up for my mentorship class, which will enable that or ensure that you are ready in the next 24 hours. Well, let's leave the mentorship class aside because by the time you're done with this video, you'd have learned everything you need to know. So here's the truth that most candidates fail, that most candidates don't fail because they are not qualified. They fail because they don't understand how the system works. HireVue is not a normal interview. You don't sit in front of a person, you sit in front of a camera. There's no room for mistakes, no chance to restart your answer. The system records everything: the way you speak, your tone, even how confident you look on the screen. So this means once you've answered a question, it's gone. You don't get the opportunity of you going back again. And when you sit before any HireVue interview, one thing you need to keep your mind on it. This might be the only opportunity I have in a lifetime. It doesn't mean you might not have other ones, but see it like this is a one-time opportunity and prepare effectively for it. Now, that's why preparation is not optional. You need to know exactly what to expect and how to respond in a way that the AI system and later the human recruiter will score highly. In this guide, I'm going to take you through every step, how the assessment works, the type of questions you will face, and how to answer them effectively. By the end, you will know how to perform with confidence and maximize your chances of passing. Let's get started by first understanding the format. HireVue is more than just a video interview. It's a digital assessment tool that combines three elements. Now, first, you will face recorded video interview questions. Now, these are timed, and you will see the questions on screen. Have a short preparation period, and then you will need to give your answer straight into the camera. Second, there are often situational judgment or personality questions. These usually appear as multi-choice. For example, what would you do if a teammate refused to cooperate? Or what would you rather stick to, a plan or adapt quickly? This measures your decision-making style and personality fits. Third, some companies add game-based assessments. These are short digital exercises that test how you process information, how fast you react, and how you solve problems under time pressure. But here's what makes HireVue different. A large part of the scoring is done by AI. The system tracks your word choice, how clearly you speak, and even subtle things like pauses, tone, and body language. Then, recruiters review the results. Hmm, if that's the case, what if I'm fidgeting? What do I do? How do I cross this? Stay tuned. That means success is about two things. One, giving strong and structured answers. Two, presenting yourself with confidence and consistency. Now that you understand the format, let's move to the single most powerful tool you can use to structure your answers. Have you ever heard about the STAR method? If perhaps you've heard about it, then everything you're going to be doing will definitely relate to the STAR method. But before I begin to talk about the STAR method, I need you to look at something very critical. The question that should ring in your head is, what is the company that I am applying for looking for? And in this video, I'm going to make use of Shell, for instance, so this guides your approach when answering questions. So the first thing that Shell looks out for: leadership, initiative, collaboration and teamwork, adaptability and resilience, sustainability mindset and communication skills. These things you can't overemphasize. What this simply means is, when structuring your STAR answers or using the STAR method, you need to also incorporate some of these things when speaking. There are still a couple of other ones that we'll talk about as we go by. But for now, have these as the core of what Shell is looking for. For STAR method, the STAR method simply means situation, task, and action. And for the situation, you need to talk about the context, you need to talk about your responsibility, you need to talk about what you did, results, the outcome. So situation, task, action, and results. Now, when you're under pressure in front of the camera, it's easy to talk in circles or lose focus. That's where the STAR method comes in. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. Here's how it works. Situation: describe the background, what's going on, what's the challenge that I am facing. In your task, explain your responsibility. Okay, so I have this problem. What's my responsibility about this problem? And while you're talking about that, you need to also emphasize what is being expected of you. The action is, show us exactly what you did and be specific. And then finally, the result. You tell us exactly how it is that you are able to overcome that challenge. So we want to see you share the outcome and use numbers if possible. Percentage, dates, deadline, things like this. Let's take an example. Instead of saying, I worked on a project and it went well, you would say, in my last role, a project was running behind schedule. That's a situation. I was responsible for bringing the team back on track. I introduced daily check-ins, reassigned tasks, and kept communication clear. Now, question is, what's your action? As a result, we delivered on time and saved 12% of the project's budget. That's your result. You see, the way I've carefully structured out this answer or this example is the same way you ought to structure out every single thing that you're saying. So you see that this is way better than saying, I worked on a project and it went well. No, you need to tell us the situation, the problem, the task, your responsibility, the action, and the results. So here's a tip. Write down at least 5-star stories from your past experience. Focus on teamwork, problem solving, leadership, adaptability, and results. These things I spoke about, or this focus I spoke about, are very crucial for you when applying for Shell HireVue interview. And this will help you. And these will always be tested in HireVue's interviews. Now, for our teamwork, during my time, I'm going to give you 3 stories or 3 examples more. 3 more examples. During my time at Bill Gates Enterprise, my team was working on a client digital marketing campaign with a tight 2-week deadline. That was our situation. The challenge was that one of our designers fell ill, leaving us short-staffed and risking us missing delivery. That was our task. What action did I take? I stepped in to coordinate tasks. I redistributed workload, paired team members to balance strengths, and personally took on part of the design review process. I also set up quick daily check-ins to keep everyone aligned. And the results? We delivered the campaign on time. The client extended their contract, and my manager commended me for keeping morale high during the difficult period. Story 2. Now, this approach is talking about problem solving. While overseeing a borehole project for my community service, we hit an unexpected challenge. The drilling equipment broke down midway, and replacing it would take weeks. That was my situation. And the tax, the community relied on this water source. So waiting wasn't an option. The action, I contacted nearby contractors, negotiated temporary equipment leasing, reorganized the work schedule so that parts of the project, plumbing, site prep, continued while drilling was paused. And eventually, what was our result? We only lost 3 days instead of several weeks. The project finished successfully, and the community gained access to clean water. Now, you've seen I've told you exactly how to structure it. However, when you're making your recording, you should also understand something. You need to still let them know what it is you learned at the end. I'll share the third story with you. Now, at Bill Gates' company, I was asked to lead a small team to deliver a data dashboard for a client who kept changing requirements. That was my situation. The shifting scope frustrated the team and threatened progress. Now, that was our task. The action we took, I introduced a structured change request log, documented every adjustment, clarified with the client which changes were essential versus optional. I also motivated my team by celebrating small wins during weekly reviews. And the result? The client appreciated the transparency, approved the revised timeline, and we delivered a dashboard that became the template for future projects. My leadership was recognized by management, and I was asked to mentor a junior project manager afterward. So I've currently shared with you different scenarios for you to learn. I expect you to get your pen and paper, write out situation, write out tasks, act out your action and results. However, practice is what's going to make you perfect. Remember, when you're practicing this, put your phone and do your recording so you see your facial interaction and all that. But you need to understand one thing, that the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. However, do not forget, my mentorship class is still open, and just for a token, you can use the link up there, or at the end of the video, check the description or the comment section. You most likely will see a link for you to gain access to my mentorship class. And for those of you who are in a hurry, maybe you have just one day or a few days left and all that, go ahead. However, if you've not yet started your HireVue interview, I'll tell you, be a bit patient, try and practice these things I've said before you go ahead to apply. So, let's continue. If you're to go for a HireVue interview, what are a couple of things you need to do, especially when setting up your camera? The place needs to be quiet, needs to be well lit. You need a neutral background. If possible, use your wall, cut it off of any other thing you feel might be a distraction. Dress well, because trust me, a lot of persons have lost opportunity because of how they dressed. Be very professional in your dressing. Check the camera, check your mic, confirm everything is okay. Please, when doing your interview, you're looking at your phone or whatever it is, look at the camera. Do not look at the screen. Don't look at the screen, look at the camera. Maintain eye contact with your camera, not with your screen. This is very important. So, how to answer HireVue questions effectively? Let's talk about execution. When HireVue starts recording, you usually get 30 seconds to prepare and less than 3 minutes to answer. Those few minutes decide whether you move forward or not. That's why I said to you earlier, see this as a life-changing opportunity. You might never get another chance. So prepare effectively. Now, here is how to approach it. Stay structured. Begin with the situation and task quickly. Don't waste too much time setting the scene. Spend most of your answer on action and results. Recruiters want to know what you did, not just what the team did. Please, I'm going to take that again. Recruiters want to know what you did, not just what the team did. Use the word I more than we, because this is your interview, not your interview. It's for you. Interview, I. Now, keep your pace steady. Don't rush, but don't drag. Aim for around 90 seconds to 2 minutes per answer. Smile naturally, maintain eye contact with the camera. Remember, HireVue is scoring your non-verbal cues, your body language. Now, looking away or slouching can lower your rating. Close strong. Don't bend your back, sit upright, look straight at the camera, know what it is you are there for. Do your business. Don't get distracted. Don't look left or right. Now, close strong. End every answer with a result or reflection. For example, that experience taught me how important clear communication is when working under pressure. Think of it like this: you are not just telling a story, you are proving them that you can handle the challenges of the job. So fine. What are some common Shell HireVue questions? Because my goal is to ensure you get the job. Shell will ask you questions about behavioural, situational, motivational, and personality. For behavioural, they're looking at your teamwork, how you address conflict, leadership style. Situational might be hypothetical, work challenges. Now, and motivational, your interest in Shell and why this role. And then for personality, you're going to see multiple choice comparisons. However, something is very important and something is very tricky. For instance, you might say, I don't have experience. Please, fake notes. You can use hypothetical instance, but try to ensure that your hypothetical instances are very realistic. And utilize everything I've told you about the STAR method: situation, task, action, and results. So, Shell uses HireVue not only to check your skills, but also to test how well you fit their values. Their strategy is called Powering Progress, and it focuses on cleaner energy, innovation, and collaboration. And that's why I've already told you, when you're talking about your STAR method, utilizing STAR method, ensure you incorporate the things I told you Shell is looking out for. Now, here are some questions you might face. Tell me about a time you worked with someone who had a different opinion than you, and how did you handle it? Describe a time when you faced a challenge at work or in school and how you overcame it. Another one: why are you interested in working at Shell, and how do you see yourself contributing to our mission? Give an example of a time when you led a project or influenced others. Then, tell me about a time when you had to adapt quickly to a major change. Notice the pattern. Most questions are behavioral. They want to see if you can collaborate, adapt, take initiative, think long term. Now, when preparing your STAR stories, match them to these themes: teamwork, adaptability, leadership, innovation, and problem solving. If you want to connect your answers back to Shell values like sustainability or collaboration, you will stand out immediately. Don't forget this. So if you want to stand out, ensure you speak about Shell's value like sustainability or collaboration so that you stand out from the crowd. Remember, AI is doing the selection, and these are keywords the AI has been programmed to take note of. So, once again, remember everything I've told you about your behavioral: situation, task, action, results. Understand this and don't play with this. The next thing you will most likely be facing will be your personality questions. And take note, consistency is key. Choose growth, reliance, adaptability. When they ask you questions, would you want to stay within the time frame while working? Always say, I will always go beyond expectations. If you tell them I avoid difficult challenges and your answer no, it's not going to be a good one for you. So here's it. You will likely face personality or situational tests, and these are multiple choice. They will pair questions together and you need to choose from one. But they are designed to reveal consistency. You're likely to answer 55 questions from here. Those in my mentorship class will gain access to this and will always be well prepared. Now, here's the key. So you will gain access to how some of these questions are most likely to come out. So you know how to address them and you're not caught off guard. Now, here's the key. Answer honestly, but stay aligned with the traits Shell values. They want candidates who are adaptable, collaborative, hardworking, and ethical. Meaning, Shell does not want people who cut corners. You need to be hardworking. You need to be willing to put in more time. That's exactly what Shell is expecting of you. When situations are changing, are you also willing to change with the situation? Or do you want to get stuck with what you think you know or an approach you've been using before, even when they're bringing a new method on board? Shell does not need those kind of people. Now, if the question is, do you prefer to stick to a plan or adapt quickly? The best choice is balance, but leaning slightly toward adaptability. If it asks, do you do exactly what is required or go beyond? Go beyond, because Shell values initiative. Now, if it asks about setback, show resilience, something like, I see setbacks as opportunities to learn and improve. So you must never say, oh, when I'm faced with challenges, I try to switch, I'm not willing to go forward. No, always be willing to make that thing to work. Now, one warning, don't contradict yourself, because the system cross-checks your answer across 50 questions. If you say you always adapt quickly in one section, but later say you prefer strict plans, it will flag inconsistency. I'm going to take that again. If you say you always adapt quickly in one section, but later say you prefer strict plans, your answer will be flagged. So if you say that you're adaptable, please remain adaptable. Don't go ahead with strict plans. If you want to stay with strict plans, go ahead with it. Consistency is one of the things they are watching. Not necessarily, yes, the personality is still there, but always make sure that everything you're doing aligns with what Shell is looking for. So the trick is, be consistent, choose answers that show adaptability, collaboration, and high standard. Avoid extremes like I never get frustrated or I dislike all obstacles. Those sounds unrealistic. If you follow this, you will come across as authentic and aligned with Shell's culture. So, there are some things you most likely want to avoid, especially when doing your video recording. And one of them is over-explaining, inconsistent personality answer, poor body language, talking too fast, forgetting Shell's value. You see these things? don't forget them. Keep them. Make sure it sticks. Remember, you can do your recording on your phone, watch yourself, watch your eye and everything, just so you try to understand everything. But when it's time for your interview, everything will be done on the website. Now, when preparing, practice like it's the real thing. Preparation is the difference between passing and failing. Don't just read your answers in a head practice out loud on the camera. And here's how to do it. Record yourself answering simple HireVue questions. Watch the playback. Are you making eye contact? Are you smiling naturally? Time your answers. Aim for 92 seconds to 2 minutes. That's the sweet spot. That's 1 minute 30 seconds for 90 seconds. Rehearse different style stories so you don't repeat the same example for every question. Think of it like training before a big match and you don't want your first performance to be on a game day. See it that way. Now, once again, I've told you everything that you need to do. Remember, you must always make use of STAR method for everything it is you're doing. Always. Because now you cannot make mistakes because you might never get another chance. And just in case you've forgotten, how should your environment look like when you're setting up? Quiet, a well-lit space, neutral background, dress in a business and professional way. Check your camera, check your mic, and maintain eye contact. If you really need to master your Shell interview, and you're like, I really need to understand everything that I am doing, then remember I told you your eye level must be on the same level your camera. You're not looking at your screen. Your focus is on it. Now, for any reason you decide to take another HireVue interview, I'm going to give you a pro tip. Close all other apps or notifications. You don't want a pop-up ruining your recording. It will not make sense at all. Possible mute or every other thing so that nothing ruins your recording. And so, despite the fact that everybody, our people have been applying for Shell interview, the process will always remain challenging. And combining the technical expertise with cultural fit assessments graduates multiple rounds. Because even after the Shell HireVue, of course, at the end of it, there's only 15 success rates, but that's one of the things my mentorship class will do for you. It ensures you pass the HireVue stage and gets you in front of your human interviewers. So most likely, you have 4 interview rounds and at least 72-hour preparation time. It's like I told you, take your time and prepare. Prepare like it's a one-time opportunity thing. Don't joke with it. So before I go ahead again, I just want you to see one of the things you need to understand while you're facing the interview panel that you need to understand. Shell's core value framework. You need to understand what Shell values are. And one of the things Shell looks out for is, or there are principles that guides every decision and interaction within the organization. Honesty, respect, and courage. Demonstrate integrity in all communications. Transparent communication, ethical decision making, accountability for actions. Now, respect. Value diversity and treat everyone with dignity. Whether the person is white, black, the person comes from your state, the person comes from India, the person comes from China, make sure you understand diversity. Inclusive collaboration, structural sensitivity, professional courtesy. Now, courage. They love people who are courageous. Take calculated risks and speak up when necessary. They need you to have an innovative mindset. They need you to challenge the status quo, standing by principles. Now, most people fail HireVue not because they lack skills, but because they panic. And here's how to keep control. First, you still need to understand your STAR method mastery. You cannot, or we cannot, overemphasize it. You can't run away from it. Have that at the back of your mind. Take a look at this and understand. Write out your examples and ensure everything is top notch. Good. Now again, before I go over to the interview proper, some common questions that Shell interview questions will most likely ask you. There's leadership influence, problem solving, and adaptability. I cannot overemphasize this. I've taken out time to show you precisely some of Shell core values. I expect you to do your own research about the company you'll be working with. What are the things they look out for? Always take your time to look at it. And then the technical assessments, which you will most likely you will face. Now, Shell technical assessments vary by role, but typically include problem-solving scenarios, case studies, industry-specific challenges, the key to demonstrating analytical thinking and practical application of knowledge. So one of the things is preparation. You need to review fundamental concepts relevant to your role. Practice case study analysis. Now, this is when you've gotten to the human stage or where you're facing your technical assessment preparation. Stay current with industry trends. Prepare to explain your thought process clearly. Remember, they are evaluating your approach to problem solving as much as your technical knowledge. Don't just focus on getting the right answer. Explain your reasoning. Show how you work through complex methods systematically. So, don't just be like, oh, this is exactly how we solve the problem. Why did you take that approach to solving the problem that way? The how is always important and necessary. So, when mastering the Shell HireVue assessments, your technical setup, environment preparation, delivery excellence, content strategy, which I've already highlighted, you cannot make a mistake on these. Not at all. And so, personality assessments. All these things are telling you the kind of questions you're most likely to face. And what it does, I've told you how to answer this. I'm bringing it up again, recapping it for you so you don't make a mistake. So, remember consistency, reflect Shell values, be authentic, with highlighting strengths. Consider the role requirements. Also review your answers for consistency. So finally, why do people feel HireVue's interview? Not because they lack skills, but because they panic. And here's how to control. Breathe before every question. Use the 30 seconds of prep time to calm yourself and outline your answer in your head. Talk to the camera as if it's a person. Imagine a friendly recruiter sitting there, not a machine. Stay positive, even when talking about challenges. Always show what you learned or how you improved. Keep energy in your voice. Monotone answers get low ratings. No matter how smart the content is, remember you have prepared. Trust your practice and let it show. And once again, before we wrap this up, perhaps you've watched this video so far and you've gained a whole lot of value. Why don't you hit the subscribe button? And of course, you have a friend of yours who is also going to be taking Shell interview or any HireVue interview. Why don't you share the link with the person? Also, do not forget that it's best you have a practice partner who understands the same thing you understand. so the person can point out your errors to you. So let's wrap up this training. Passing the Shell HireVue interview comes down to three things: preparation, structure, and consistency. Use the STAR method for every story. Link your answers to Shell values: teamwork, adaptability, sustainability, and leadership. Practice until you feel natural on camera. Stay consistent in personality tests. Show resilience, initiative, and collaboration. Now, if you want more than just tips, my mentorship class is available, where I go through real practical questions one by one, the same style Shell uses. Now, in that class, I don't just give you theory, I guide you on how to structure your answers so that you don't fail. Think of it like a rehearsal before the real thing. I know you understand what I'm talking about. So here's my final tip. Treat this HireVue as your first day at Shell. Show up prepared, professionally, and ready to contribute. If you found this helpful, subscribe, share to someone preparing. And if you're serious about passing, check out my mentorship class. It's where we turn preparation into performance. Good luck. I know you've got this.